Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 493. This is our Supergirl Season 3 review, with an emphasis on Season 3, Episode 23, Battles Lost and Won, the season finale. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And before we jump into our thoughts on this season and this episode, I do want to invite you to come join our Facebook group. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/DC On Screen podcast. Don't go to just DC On Screen, because there's some weird stuff over there. And
we've warned you.
If you want, we've warned you. We've warned you before on other episodes. But if you're new, just make sure it's /DC On Screen podcast. We also have this thing where if you leave us a voicemail, we will play that voicemail. You can call us at 205-259-6331. Well, a few weeks ago, I'll be honest, I didn't think this day would ever come. Like, I hoped it would, obviously. Like, I have a small amount of hope that I will live to see the day that a season ends, you know? Like, It was just like, oh man, Supergirl's going to end on June 18th? What? That it feels so far away. Like, everything else is, like, ending. And, you know, I'm kind of persnickety. I'm kind of a stickler. Like, everything else ends. I want my shows to be over so I can recoup. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't really want to, like, have it parsed out so much. But, this wasn't too bad. I did feel a little weird about this season being parsed out the way it was. And, I guess that's just what we're going to be doing, though. With CW, they have enough superhero shows now.
Yeah, there's some evidence that they're going to trend this way. It's also, this wouldn't have happened this year if they already had Sundays open. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't part of their planning. I think if they had it all to do over again, they would opened up Sundays before the fall season began last year.
Yeah,
but it didn't happen. So instead, we got what to me felt like an unnatural. Like I don't remember ever being like watching a finale and being so thankful for air conditioning at the same time. Mm-hmm. Completely new experience for me. It is just bizarrely long. Like I struggle almost to remember everything that happened in this season.
Well, I think oddly enough, like there wasn't a whole lot that did happen. Like it feels like there was a lot more to it than there was, just because of the big break. But when we came back, Kara was still dealing with the loss of Mon-El, and then he came back from the future. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He was married to Saturn Girl. Brainy became a main character. We had Carl Lumbly come in, the brilliant Carl Lumbly, who was Martian Manhunter on Justice League and Justice League Unlimited as Jean Jones' father. Mm-hmm. And we had Lena and Kara become close. We had Morgan Edge, and his storyline seemed to kind of fall away quickly. And I'm assuming because his role got so big on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Adrian Pasdir. So I hope to see Morgan Edge.
I like the theory for it, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. I just hope we see more of Adrian in Supergirl, Morgan Edge, further down the line. Because I do enjoy I enjoy
that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand also, like, Alex's storyline developing, the loss of Sanvers and all that. I get it. John's entire storyline with his dad's inclusion and then demise. I get that. Guardian, Winn, all of these people had, what I have to admit is, for each and every person involved, a pretty serious storyline, like a giant arc, even including people that weren't really cared about or introduced until this season.
Sam and Ruby.
Right.
Primarily.
And they still got, and Lena was around before this season, right?
Who was?
Was Lena around before this season? I can't remember now.
I want to say she showed up last year.
Introduced? I think I remember being introduced, but like I said, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Man. Sorry. But either way, it didn't get as heavy a focus until this season. Even, like, she even gets a heavy storyline. Mon-El gets dealt with well. Like, everyone has their time. It just kind of messed with me because it messes with the rhythm of how you watch a show in in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like by mid-May, I'm like almost expectant. I have I don't know. I'm thinking about these TV shows a lot. I'm looping things in my head because you're gearing up for what you're going to show me like on your finale. Like I don't know. It's just like it got me on my timing almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because like by this time in the year, it's almost like you have transitioned to summer thinking. There's a lot of thought about like lawn care and pools. You know, and, like I'm always.
You have a pool?
No, my parents do though.
Oh, okay.
I'll take you there sometime.
I'm good.
Okay.
No one wants to see me in pool attire. I'll put it that way.
Oh, buddy.
Like, luckily, like if were I to take my shirt off, no one would ever really truly see how out of shape I was because the sun reflecting off of my white skin would blind everyone in the vicinity.
Well, I mean that's cool. I can get a pair of stronger sunglasses, and we can have the pool to ourselves. We'll have a little we'll have a day with it. It'll be good. And then we'll have to take like 2 weeks off because you'll be absolutely scorched from the exposure to the sun.
Yeah, that's the real thing. So I think I enjoyed the season more than the previous 2 seasons. What do you think? Like, from what you can remember.
Yeah, actually, I'd agree with that. Like a few episodes where I just remember being slightly underwhelmed a few times, but that happens any of the shows that we love or hate, man. I mean, I mean, you were just going off about like season 2 of Legion, and I still remember like a couple episodes where I thought, well, not quite what I was hoping for.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure with Legion that I had an expectation to hope for. Like, I'm just sort of enjoying the ride, but I love where they've taken Alex this season.
Oh, for sure.
Was dubious, like because I really liked the Sanvers relationship.
Yeah,
and I was dubious that when we found out last year before the season began that Maggie was going to be going away, I was like, I don't want to see that. But you know, Alex has become a stronger person for it, a stronger character for it, and
yeah, when you take away a character, especially when you've been successful at adding that character and it really going over well with the fans, and it really did. Mm-hmm. When you've added somebody that's added something that you love about the show, and you take that away, you can make that a stronger version of the show if what you do is leave some like lasting legacy that impacts the future of the show, and they did that really well.
Mm-hmm. And you know that also works really well with like what just happened in this episode. A lot of people on TV Time and Twitter are very, very upset that Mon-El has gone back to the future to save the Earth. They feel like that the writers have thrown away 2 years of character development, getting us invested in a relationship that doesn't matter, but it does matter.
No, they cashed in 2 years of development. Yeah,
like were it not for those 2 seasons of relationship, were it not for Kara's
influence, I want to say.
Yeah, influence. That's a good word for it. That I can't think of for some reason. On Mon-El, if it wasn't for her inspiring him to become a hero and be the man that he is, he wouldn't have gone to save the future. And like if he wouldn't have gone to save the future, he wouldn't be the man that she loved. So it's important for her to stay in the past. It's important for him to stay in the future because that's where they need to be, and that's sort of the most romantic version of it. Like, I get the feeling that a lot of people these days wouldn't dig Casablanca, you know?
I get it.
Like, one of the greatest love stories of any time.
But yeah, the whole Hill of Beans things would be lost on a lot of people.
There was a plane that flew one of those people far, far away at the end of that film.
It did not end with an embracing kiss that goes on unnaturally long and a crane pulling out the credits rolling over the top of the two kissing. You know, that's not what happened here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the also, perfect thing about
just a hypothesis, I think if he doesn't meet Supergirl on this planet, he becomes a bartender hitting on single chicks.
Yeah.
Not even
we
single
have enough
chicks.
of those
I just
kinds
think
of
he's
guys.
a bartender that hits on people.
And we have enough of those kinds of guys, don't we?
Yeah, and like if he ends up on this planet and still somehow ends up in the future, he's still just a guy on a different bar hitting on chicks. Like that's who Mon-El is without the relationship he builds with Supergirl.
Yeah.
And I say that because, come on, man, we saw his history. He was just a spoiled prince.
Yeah, and the showrunners have said that they always planned for him to just be in 2 seasons of the show. They also said that maybe they say they would be happy to have him back. If story and time, permits, they'd love to have him back for a few episodes or something.
He will be. I mean, he will be. I'm just willing to put money on that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, his last scene, he gives her a ring and says, call me if you need me, basically.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, they actually did. They brought up Casablanca talking about the decision.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I did not see that before. That is, no one's going to believe that. I'm so sorry, but that's the truth. I did not see that. I've got tabs open, guys.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should bring up 500 Days of Summer. Spoiler. Gosh, I was fine with Mon-El not being on the show anymore. I liked them as a couple, but
I was good either way. I like him as a couple.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
But
even if you shipped him, I have nothing against that whatsoever. But what they did instead, okay, it's okay too.
Yeah, like
if you're a TV viewer, you don't always get what you want. But I mean,
it's important that you get what you need. Like, we got Mon-El being a better person than he was. Like, there was real growth, and she learned that she doesn't need him. Like at the end of the day, like, she's good on her own. She is Kara and she is Supergirl, and that was like that was the big overarching theme of the season. The big question is, can she be human and Kryptonian? And even to a point where, like, I kind of felt like, gosh, wouldn't she have had this struggle in college or something? But hey, here we are.
If I can skip straight to the revelation at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's a nice point, though. Is like the theme is, who is she? And she kind of embraces, like, she doesn't quite reject, but she wants to go to Argo City. She wishes she had all the things. She wishes she could be with Mon-El. She wishes she could be with her mom. But as Mon-El puts it, like, we've all got some saving to do or something like that.
Yeah.
She wishes she could have all that, but she understands her place, her time, her home. Who she really identifies with, the humans, the people who made her who she is. And then we see Second Kara, which apparently their producers are making a direct reference, with it being Russia, to Red Sun.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is about, like, who brought you up? Who do you identify with? Like, apparently that might be the season 4 theme.
Yeah.
Which would be, I mean, for a second, like, I didn't put together the Russia thing for a second. And I didn't dare to dream of anything Red Sun related. So for a second, I was just like, oh, freaking, are we going to do doppelgangers? Oh, God. No.
I'm good with doppelgangers. I know you. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it too, to some degree, but then, yeah.
Not to my degree. I understand. I have a possibly unnatural degree of reluctance to delve into those stories. But getting into the Red Sun thing and the, like, who do you identify with and all that, that's, yeah, fantastic. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently it looks like it's also going to be, I think comicbook.com was saying that it was a lot like the Supergirl Last Order of Krypton storyline, where she's memory wiped and in Siberia. So,
nice.
So it might be some,
well be.
combination.
There might probably be some influences of Power Girl in here too, where it's kind of a blank slate, like a powerful blank slate shows up out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
Like anything, they're going to take from here and there and hopefully make something fun and new out of it.
Yeah. I am a bit distressed at the fact that Odette Annabelle is gone. She's not going to be a regular anymore, and we don't even know if she's coming back. This is the woman who played Sam and Rain. And I'm a little distressed because, like, I already felt like in this season they rushed it along. Like, she was like in 2 episodes, and all of a sudden she was like best friends with Kara and Lena.
See,
and they were like, we're best friends.
I suspect that our memory's failing us. I think they spent more time on that than I feel like I can remember right now. That's where I feel like the length of the season is affecting me a little bit in my memory.
It wasn't 2 episodes, but it was quick for them to be like, oh, we're all best friends.
I mean, yeah, I know you're hyperbolizing with 2 episodes, but I feel what you're feeling. Like, I understand. It did feel quick, but I think, like, I almost wish I had time to go rewatch the whole thing and be sure of it. I do. I'm combative. Like, part of my memory thinks it took them a little more time than it feels like it took them,
Yeah. Now, the showrunners were asked if Sam was gone for good, and they said, "We hope not. We love Odette. She was amazing in the dual role, playing different characters. We fell in love with her as Sam, and we're terrified of her as Rain. If it works out, we'd love to have her back for a few episodes next season." And that seems to be, kind of similar to what they said about Chris Wood.
Yeah.
They were even asked like why Sam was left alive and Alex didn't adopt Ruby, and that's something that I predicted would happen.
Yeah.
It seemed to be very much where they were going, and they did say that they discussed that option, but they wanted it to have a heartwarming ending for everyone because there's too much trauma in the world as it is, and they wanted to have a happy ending for Ruby, which I get, but if you're not going to have her back next season, it probably would have been the better call. In my mind.
I mean, well, that, and like, if you have her, then you have to commit Ruby to the role next season, which I don't know how they're working out their contracts, but I don't know, man. I mean, maybe you don't. Like, that may be this, like, would concern me, like, backstage, is like, not only, if you bring back Samantha, you have to bring back Ruby and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Unless you've killed one of them, right? So unless you've created the tragedy they're apparently trying to avoid with what was admittedly a heartwarming finale, you got to get them both back. You can't like not see Ruby when you see Samantha.
I sort of thought Sam should have died. That's sort of my thing. Like, it's not my thing. Like, the thing I was really like, oh, this is great, but
yeah,
it's where they were. It's where I felt they were pushing the show, and I'm not gonna be like mad at them for it because why would I be mad at them doing exactly what I thought they would do? I complain that shows are predictable enough as it is.
Well, they didn't say
weird.
outright that when she gets clocked that she dies. Mm-hmm. But if we assume that she did, then you are still kind of right that that's what they were leading up to, and they just had a nice little twist. Like, not only did they, if that's what they were doing, and she did die, then not only does she die, but almost everyone else there taken out too, and then Kara has to go through extremes and kind of learn the thematic lesson for herself that season to get it all back.
Mm-hmm. How does it sit with you, the whole Kara thing with her, like, oh, I came in here, like, she's the whole episode she's talking about, I don't kill. Then they go to confront Rain. They wind up killing her, right? But in her death throes, Rain kills a ton of people. Mm-hmm. Kara goes back in time, a la Barry on The Flash. Mm-hmm. And
a la Superman. Yeah,
a la Superman. Takes the Hyronel, grabs Rain, takes her into a pocket dimension, then kills her there. Mon-El's dead, everybody's dead. And there's, oh, it's my fault, I came here intending to kill Rain, I'm supposed to be better than that, I don't kill, blah, blah, blah. Then she takes the Hyronel, kills Rain anyway in a pocket dimension. But I guess if it's in a pocket dimension, it's not murder. That seems stupid and weird to me.
Here's the thing. When a bunch of spirits like kind of take your physical form, beat it down, and rush into a pool of water, I don't know what the fuck just happened. But I'm willing to say to myself, even doubling down the fact that that's in a pocket dimension, I don't know if I just murdered a person, but I'm sure they're here for a bit.
Okay, well, let me rephrase as to what actually happened on the show here. Mm-hmm. All right. Kara took Sam and Rain into the pocket dimension.
Yeah.
Sam gave her that liquid that she knew for a fact was going to kill her because her foster mother told her, don't drink that water, it will kill you. And Kara watched her as she killed Rain. So as long as Sam does it, it's not really murder.
I'm just a bystander. No big deal.
Yeah.
I could still even argue that the definition of kill in that particular scenario isn't real. Like, the idea of Sam going into a pocket universe, quotations, dying in it, and then never coming back because of Sam Mom explaining it. That's one thing. And I'm not trying to pull out Sam Mom's explanation. Let's keep that. Let's not get weird here. But even then, in a pocket dimension, I could still be like, I don't know what's going on here. But that clearly weakened Rain enough that she's not even in physical form anymore. This is a pocket dimension. We're going to bail. Whatever's here, still here is in the pocket. Energy once created cannot be destroyed. She's here somewhere. Whatever. I'm bailing. I should say energy cannot be created or destroyed because that's more accurate. But still, you see my point.
That is also still true if she just murders the shit out of her in the physical world. Like,
that's a that energy went somewhere. Transformation of energy than I can possibly. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying.
It's a little not okay. Like, just...
Yeah, and I do wonder if they could deal with it, because they clearly didn't kill said energy. And my theory about a pocket universe being a encapsulating of that energy is apparently bullshit, because she shows up in Russia in some form. Whatever,
Who shows up in Russia? Kara does. Not
Yeah, I know, but
Rain.
it's like they do the ghosts taking her away, and then suddenly there's a Kara. It's almost like the energy gets transferred into Kara somehow to me.
I don't know that that's what they're intending. Like, if you'll recall earlier in the season,
they go exactly to
Lena,
the scene where they take her down, and then suddenly there's a Kara. I just feel like there's gonna be a connection there.
They didn't suddenly go to that. They, tied up the season, and then were like, at the very end, like as a tag, it's like over here in Siberia.
Well, they do like 48 hours earlier when we,
Yeah.
when we killed Rain, and then here's
I don't know. In earlier in the season, they made it very clear that the Heronel does a lot of different things. Like, Leno's like looking at it and going like, this shit has properties I don't even understand. Like, it could do so many different things.
Yeah. Which is why she keeps it, and I get
keeps
that.
it, yeah. And by the way, Lena's right for that. Like, she's a scientist, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready to call her the villain yet.
I'm not ready to call her the villain, but
I do hope this is something her and Kara can like bond over later.
Oh, she and Kara will have a big row over it.
I meant her and Supergirl.
Oh, well, either one. Like,
also, I'm still super sure Lena knows it's Supergirl. I kind of wish they had tied that up too at the end of it. Like, when she's handing that stuff over at the end, I kind of wish like Supergirl would be like, "Thank you," and she's like, "You're welcome, Kara," and just walks away. That would have really amused me.
Like, unfortunately, like I understand that Lena is a scientist. She's going to keep this stuff. She's going to study it.
How could you not? You could change the world.
You kind of can't be friends with Supergirl if you have a mind of your own on the show, because like Supergirl is like super judgmental.
They made room for that though this season. Mm-hmm. Like they really did. Like, Lena and her are not friends. Lena makes that explicitly clear. Mm-hmm. And even kind of calls her out like, why do you need that from people? Like, why do we need to be friends? We have a goal. That's all that really matters. Yeah. Similar goal. That's all we need between ourselves. Just shut the fuck up with all this friendship stuff. And Supergirl pretty much just like crosses her arm and nods like, yeah, I get it. Like, Supergirl did not win that. Hope did not win the day. Lena is not inspired by her. It's nothing like that. They're on the other side of the fence on a few things, and that's just how it is.
It would probably be a lot easier to be inspired by Supergirl if Supergirl weren't being a judgmental idiot. Like, you know what? We might need some kryptonite on Earth because of all the things that are happening right the hell now. Oh, yeah. But it's an affront to me. It's the only thing that can kill me. Everything can kill me, Supergirl. Shut up. Like, I loved that point. When Lena finally made that point, like, dude, like, you know how many things can kill me on the Earth, and am I just going to be offended by everything? Go away.
You wish she had gone further with it and been like, I don't go over to a dinner party as a guest, walk in, see a carving knife for a turkey, and go, how dare you?
But as I had to point out to TV Time on, it is like, we can't just have Kara and Lena, or Lena and Supergirl in complete and perpetual agreement all the time. It would rob them both of character. It would rob them both of depth. What's the point of having Lena on the show at all?
A Luthor.
If you're just going to have if you're just going to have a sounding board for Supergirl, like everything I think is right, and everyone's like, yes, it is. Okay, cool. Then just have an episode. Just have a show called Supergirl where every week she fights something, and then the show is over. Like, we need characters with different perspectives. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. No, and then that'll be fun to deal with next season. Also, I'm going to get I'm going to get my will they won't they about the identity reveal, and I'm just going to maintain until I'm proven otherwise that she already knows.
I hope she already knows. So speaking of people connected to Lena, what do you think of James revealing his identity?
I dig it. One of the major arguments against it is you're going to endanger the people you love. Freaking everybody he knows is capable of protecting themselves.
Yeah.
He's fine.
All the time.
It
would be
fine
funny.
With me.
It would be funny if, like, the first episode of next season, like, he's like, I did it because it was important and blah, and Clark just shows up. He's like, dude, they figured out that I'm Superman. What the hell, man?
Oh, that'd be great too.
What do you mean?
It's like Clark just shows up in plain clothes, flying. Like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, they already know. Like, they all know. You revealed yourself as Guardian. You did our secret handshake in front of everybody. Like, What did you expect would happen? It leaked, man.
That'd be great.
That would be. Also, if they just opened up if like in episode 1, there's a time leap of like a month, and James is just in jail. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Vigilantes are, illegal.
Yeah.
But Supergirl, she's an alien. She's not.
I run around assaulting people that I decide need to be assaulted.
Right.
Also, I'm editor-in-chief of a major news outlet. Man, I don't think that's an amount of power that like I would be comfortable consolidating into one person. If they arrested him, like, you cannot be the kind of person who makes your own decisions about who needs punishment and control the news. Like, there has to be an independent, like, someone has to be independently making decisions about your decisions. Somebody.
By the way,
you're not letting the executive branch do it. You're not letting the fourth branch do it. What do you want?
I've suddenly just had a great idea for a TV show.
Uh-huh.
The Punisher runs TMZ.
Just every headline would be, they deserve to die. Don't worry about it.
But they didn't die. She's a gold digger. She married like an 84-year-old man.
I know. I'm assuming in his universe,
dead now.
He just kills a bunch of people and then takes like a picture of the crime scene. Let's just call it the crime scene. And then just puts like at the top in the typical TMZ lettering, more pedophiles killed. Details below.
Yeah. Just like he kills celebrities for something entirely different.
Entirely unrelated. More pedophiles killed.
But headlines it wearing fake Versace.
Yeah. Illuminati pedophile ring takes another hit. Details inside. I don't know what I'm saying
purse.
inside of. Like, physical media still exists, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does sometimes.
Scroll down for details.
When you print the article out. At home.
Right.
All right, so Jeremy Jordan, people are upset. Jeremy Jordan has been downgraded to recurring on the show for season 4. And a lot of articles were saying, just scant hours ago, saying that there was no reason given for him not coming back next season. TV Time user QPJ100 actually clued me in that Jeremy Jordan had said something, hinted on his Instagram that he was getting into some more Broadway stuff. That's what I had assumed. And he was doing some more shows, and sure enough, I popped over to Instagram, and I saw he had some stuff, like, scheduled out for October. And then he also posted today, actually, after the Supergirl finale last night. I won't read the whole thing. A lot of it is just thanking the Supergirl crew and stuff for understanding what he needs to do. But he says, lately my gut has been telling me that I'm once again ready to begin a new chapter in my life. And if I've learned anything, it's that you got to listen to your gut. So I want to thank everyone behind the scenes for understanding it was time for me to return home, to spend time with my wife and friends and focus on crafting the next stage of my career. And he does say that he will return in season 4, which is what recurring means.
Yeah.
And I want to say this for all the people out there who are screaming that the writers chose to write Jeremy Jordan out of the show. That's not what happened.
No.
Jeremy Jordan said, hey guys, I need to split because I'm getting tired of doing this 16-hour a day shit. And I got to go work on other things in my career. I got to go hang out with my family, dude. Like,
I'm tired of not seeing my family for a quarter of the year.
Yeah, guy's super talented. Like,
yeah, he's gonna
you can't
cage
that kind of person, man.
He's gonna be fine. And as sad as I am to see him go, because I kind of wish he had less ambition, because he was great on the show. It's probably, honestly, maybe my vote for the bravest person in the show as they've written it. Him and Alex are a real close tie to me. Like, they both just at moments, like, hell, I remember a few instances. I can't remember the details, but I remember a few instances where he straight up, like, just tears Supergirl down, like, knowing that she could just shove his head into a into a wall. I mean, and like, just simple stuff where like you've seen him over time just have like moments of bravery that I thought, man, I did not think he was capable of it. Like from a guy who was like fixing, like creating people's, passwords at a freaking media company when he started.
Yeah.
To have his arc end in, and by the way,
he's going to the future to save the world. Yeah.
Yeah, like to save a world in a future where he's already saved countless lives because of his technology. And like what I was kind of really touched by was there's a lot of moments with him leaving where I was like, oh, that's just sweet, that kind of thing. But the one that really got me, the look in like Brainiac's eyes when he's telling him like how important that little scrap of paper is to him, like to the future, was kind of huge for me.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think that the whole time he's been telling him, you're not a 12th limit. Like that, it makes you feel like the whole time he's been berating berating Winn. He was just kind of a little jealous, like that he hasn't had that kind of impact on the timeline,
Yeah.
Anyway, it was I don't know, I was more touched by him being presented by the sheet of paper and as an artifact. Like, no, you changed everything, dude.
And it was a really hard hitting and a great wrap up to to that statement he made to James while he was in the hospital bed. Like, yeah, dude, I've got more stuff to do. I can't go out like this.
Yeah, I mean, and it really would have been a tragedy. He hadn't done that yet. Like, there was so much more left to do.
But we also get, because he's leaving, we get Jesse Rath coming in as a regular character this coming year as Brainiac 5.
That's not bad horse trading, man.
It's not bad, and I don't want to rattle any cages or upset anybody, but in the comics, Brainiac 5 and Supergirl were an item.
I don't see that happening here, but
I know the wound from Mon-El is fresh, but a couple of years I can see it maybe happening.
I don't know. As always, I kind of wish to minimize the romance, especially when it's just there to keep characters doing something. But
I'm not stating a preference. I'm just stating the obvious. What's there from the comic page may not wind up on the screen.
Sure,
but that is a thing.
It is an amusing possibility for sure.
She's got a Legion ring. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, which I wonder
that was from the comics too.
What can that really do for her? Like,
well, she can fly into space now. She can breathe in space.
She has some protection there, sure.
And clearly she can, go back in time now. She can
time
travel if she can find a...
Despite Winn's projections, she can survive it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think this is going to free them up on their budget too. Like, if you have Mon-El gone, you have Jeremy Jordan gone, you have Sam gone, because Dead Annabelle was a regular cast member this season. And by the way, John isn't going anywhere. Everyone on the internet is freaking out because David Harewood is gone. And I'm like, dude, he is a regular for season 4.
I mean, if you don't know the news, you don't know that he's still a regular. And you don't know that the APs have even said, like, we have some really grounded ideas for what to do with him.
Yeah,
like, they have plans for him.
On the
show, what itself, they saw was what I'll call the walk-away shot.
But on the show itself, the walk-away shot came after he told Alex, I'm not leaving my friends.
I know, but in the same show, they just saw, how many people say, like, I'll see you around, I get how if you're just kind of viewing this and you don't know anything backstage that you might have seen that and thought, oh, God, they just wrote Martian Manhunter off. I do get it. It's just that, take a moment and do just a small amount of research. Just type David Harewood in and then just isolate it to news. Maybe get clever and go to, like, past 7 days.
Maybe I'm wrong, but when I saw him put on that hat, I thought, oh, Detective John Jones.
I did. I immediately did too. And then I thought, no, that's exactly what they said he wasn't going to do. He's not going to be some private anything. He said he wants to go into the public and be some kind of Martian preacher.
Did he say a Martian preacher? I don't remember him saying a Martian preacher. See, that just said to me that he was going to join the police force or something, like be in the streets, hands-on, like in the public, like dealing with the public, like...
Maybe, and even private detective, you could work that in if you really felt like it. I mean, it's called a PI, but you don't have to really be that private.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to be a private dick. He can just be a detective working on the police force.
One of my probably my favorite set of fictional novels of all time is the Nero Wolfe stuff, and he was a so-called private detective, but he was literally world famous.
I don't know what the procedure is if the former director of a top secret government agency walks into your precinct and says, "I want to be a detective"? Like,
Well, first of all, you don't know that.
yeah, I mean, if you get government paperwork saying, "Hey, this dude is like overqualified for this position. What do you want to do?" I mean, do you just say, "Okay, be a detective"? Do you start him off, as a rookie?
No.
What's the procedure?
Honestly, you say yes and you do it outright, because either he's there on some kind of assignment that you just don't need to ask questions about, or he's there on some kind of personal mission. You know his training and you just don't need to get in the way.
Right?
You say sure and you hand him whatever paperwork he needs to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my take on it.
Right. So are you excited about Argo City still being out there? Are you happy that there are so many more Kryptonians around?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because, season 1 made me really not want more of that, but they seem to have, it seems they've pivoted away from like the Shakespearean Kryptonians.
Yeah.
And now they're sort of like the Baku in Star Trek Insurrection. They're just sort of like all running around with like flowers and shit and hanging out in the field.
I don't remember.
They're like some down home.
I don't remember
people,
the reference, but I like your characterization. Her mom didn't have that dialect that we just kept getting so annoyed with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Am I crazy, or did the weird cult guy not die? He's still around, right? He was, last time I remember seeing him, he was in Jean's car, or his ship.
His car ship. Which I'm really sad for John that he doesn't still have, because that was awesome. I don't know. Like, he's very still when he sends that signal, but I don't know if that's like that kind of still or dead body still.
Yeah.
Either way, I thought, oh, you willfully ignorant fuck. At least you finally found a some redemptive part of your character to be useful. Anyway, yeah, he I don't know. He could be alive, but I kind of hope he's irrelevant. Like, I think that was maybe built in, whether you like it or not. Like, he served his purpose, and he's gone.
Yeah, I'm curious. I like that actor. I'm curious if he's going to be around again next season at any point.
Yeah, nothing against the actor there. He did a good job with it. I just get really bored with the, like, zealot of... Like, zealots in general sometimes bore me, because they can be used as, like, a kind of, like, borderline Deus Ex kind of thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get bored when it's just, oh my god, the zealot, and then we change the story. And other times I get bored, I got specifically bored with the character where it's like, this kind of zealot, and then that ideology runs out. So now I'm this kind of zealot, and then just like the kind who's going to just change his tune, but always going to be basically singing the same song.
Yeah.
They bore me for entirely different reasons. So I could stand him just being gone. Not the actor's fault though.
Yeah, I got a little tired of that storyline, but I kind of I liked the actor enough. I kind of wanted to see the zealot, not necessarily get his comeuppance, because I felt like he got that anyway.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that happened in the episode before this one. I feel like
like everyone he worshipped kind of kicked his ass.
Like, there's the moment where I saw where I'm just sitting there watching, going like, "Yeah, that's what you get, buddy." I got that, so I was personally satisfied on that level.
Yeah, but I wanted to see that character development. I feel like this show kind of has a thing with like, okay, well, we don't know what to do with, this person is gone, and then we might come back, so we're just going to forget about him for a minute. Like, yeah, it's not totally true. It's the way I feel, not the way it actually is, but I would like to see a deeper wrap-up. If he's not dead, I would like to see a deeper wrap-up of his character, like... I would like to see, like, hey, you know what? I am deeply steeped in Kryptonian mythology, at the very least, and maybe I can help out on something. Can you guys give me, like, a position or something, even if it means that I'm in chains in, like, in a cell somewhere in the DEO? Is there something I can do to redeem myself? You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see that.
If it ever comes up that you're dealing with, like, those witches again or anything like them, just let me know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind what you're saying, but here's what I actually saw. They walked in and out of that cave, and no one mentioned a damn thing about him.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it was cut for time or what, but no one stopped to look for him.
I cracked up when when that one of those Kryptonian witches screams out, "What devilry is this?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like my wife, she's just like, "Devilry? Is that even a word?" I'm like, "I've absolutely said that before."
For sure said that word. It's like the kind of word that I don't even know if it exists for sure. And I feel like if it does, the first time I was introduced to it was probably in The Crucible. I'm not sure, but it would make sense.
Yeah. I doubt it's going to be you, Jason, but hopefully one of the listeners will come in and say that they may have thought the same thing. Every time I saw those Kryptonian witches, all I could think of is like the Sisterhood of Karn from Doctor Who. Like, that's basically what they were. It was just, that was the imagery that came to mind. So let me know I'm not alone, guys. Tell me if anybody saw the Sisterhood of Karn.
Please. Anyone.
I'm so alone.
I'd like to know if anyone else ever has read Nero Wolfe. So yeah, please just let me know.
I've read Nero Wolfe. I've read most of a novel.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I got distracted by other things. Actually, I got distracted by Ready Player One, and then got distracted on that with other things. So
I thought you were going to say it was all of the internet rejecting Ready Player One.
Oh no, I didn't see a lot. I mean, I saw some people reject it, but people I trusted were going, "No, it's solid. Go see it." I'm like, okay, cool. Okay. I didn't see it, but I was busy.
I think so.
I was getting married. I was
that at that time?
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to like pull away for long enough to go and see a thing. I had to, I don't know, get wedded.
I understand. Been there. That's some crazy stuff for like the several weeks before and after. Doesn't matter how well you plan it, just crazy shit happens.
Yeah. Ours went off pretty smoothly, honestly.
Ours did too.
Like the worst thing that happened was like rain.
Yeah, which was honestly pretty funny. So.
Yeah. It was like people were like huddled under umbrellas and awnings.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for them.
I had a pretty good laugh out of it. I meant to ask you this too. Oh, I had two questions for you. One.
All right.
Was there a moment when Alex was talking to John at the end where you were like, did he even hear what the fuck she said? Is this like, are they going to just suddenly make him a really selfish character? Or what is happening right now? And then by the time he finishes talking, I'm like, oh, okay. No, I guess that makes sense.
I didn't feel that way. Like, I feel like Jean has given me enough to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, that was the thing, but he did have like another mind and transplanted to his. So that was what I was thinking was like, did we just like fundamentally change him? Because I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I didn't think about it, honestly. I didn't think that they were gonna do that.
For just a second when he was like, oh, you can't retire to fulfill your personal needs. In fact, I'm promoting you. I was like, what? Hold on. That's not how I phrased it, but that's what I heard for a second. Mm-hmm. Because I have to leave and fulfill my personal journey. You can't do yours, but I'm doing mine instead. Thank you. Like, by the end of the speech, I was good with it, and clearly the characters were, like, they didn't leave any kind of Alex is resentful of the promotion kind of thing going on.
Yeah, no. It's just,
I like where they left it, but
like,
yeah, for a second in the middle, I was pretty confused.
I think it was, I figured they were leading up to that. Just because of how little Jean actually goes into the field. I was like, if they just promoted Alex, because, like, Jean might need to go do something else.
Yeah, I mean,
it occurred to me.
She is going to end up out there, though.
She will.
That's a given.
But
I mean, first of all, they just gave her badass tech. And second, like, you still saw him out there, and you can still say, hey, he's a super powerful creature that's, not even... On this show, maybe not nigh invulnerable, but pretty damn invulnerable. Mm-hmm. I mean...
But he's also psychic, and he's been inside of her head. So in some ways, I think he knows her better than she knows herself.
Like he knew how she would take that decision, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. Like, I think, he wasn't wrong. Like, she has to be she has to be the person who saves people. She has to be in the thick of it a little bit. Like,
I'm fine with that. I liked it by the end of it. They just scared me a little up front. Mm-hmm. Just my little micro reaction. I was for a second. I was like, "Oh, please don't do that." Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, though, I'm excited about what they've done with Alex. I'm excited what they might be doing with Jean. I'm looking for a shakeup on the show, and I think it's important that these shakeups happen to keep the show fresh and interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't want the same thing over and over again.
That was my major takeaway, though, was like
status quo.
Seriously, everybody involved in the show, every major character, everyone who you could name, if I gave you like 5 seconds, name every character, everybody there had a serious arc this season. There's something strong to be said about that.
Yeah, and, the execution has not been great. This episode happened entirely too fast. They wrapped up the Reign storyline. They just sort of dragged it out, and then, like, in the last episode, just wrapped it up super quick. Like, I could have dealt with a longer arc of, like, the end game. Last 3 or 4 episodes being, like, the actual end game. But,
honestly, the episode before this was probably one of the most... I was probably most on the edge of my seat in the episode before this than I was on maybe any other episode this season.
Really?
Yeah, and it had to partly do with, like, John's father comes down and is like, I can stop this. And you know what he means. He's like, he's going to build himself literally into the earth. And I kind of thought, oh, Lord, let's do that. And then they ended the episode. And I was like, oh, damn, you got me. That was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so... I didn't want him to go, man.
I didn't, but damn, man, the acting when he goes.
Yeah, like...
Oof, those two.
That has been my favorite arc this season is... I'm just going to always say Carl Lumley. And and Sean. Sean and his dad just killed me.
Yeah.
Just, the loss of his faculties and...
oh, yeah.
Just
all
so
the stuff
sad.
between him and Alex. And like the stuff between him and Alex last episode, crushed me. Just crushed me. That was rough, man.
Yeah. Like, I was happy to see that. I was happy to see, like, we didn't get, like, as much Winn as I wanted this season. But they just haven't had as much to do with him lately, it seems. Like, they'll pull him out for every couple of episodes and be like, okay, well, here's a thing. But, it's not really... It had been getting lesser and lesser, especially as they pulled away from the Guardian storyline. Like, when they pulled away from the Guardian storyline, they pulled away from the Winn storyline.
Yeah, they had tied those two together a little bit.
We got back to that. And also, Brainy kind of took away from Winn a little bit.
Between those two this week.
Yeah.
But they did pull away, and that being said, there were still highlights. Like,
absolutely.
He had a great... Oh, man. The stuff with his family was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. Like, we did get those episodes. We got... some really good stuff with Jeremy Jordan's Winn, but I did feel like they pulled away from him significantly this season. Brainy took away some of his thunder there on the show.
Oh yeah,
so
but, he took away his thunder and gave back an earthquake.
Absolutely,
like that paid off.
Absolutely
huge. I don't know if that was their plan. I don't know when Jeremy told them we want to go. If they pivoted and made that happen. And got Brainy on the show as a result of it. Like, that's some impressive backhand producing, man.
I suspect they were planning that for quite a while. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the show this season. Like, there were some real like hiccups for me, but I think their acting has gotten better. I think the production has really started to gel for me in a way that it hadn't in the previous 2 years. The serialization of the show has really gelled for me in a way that it hasn't previously. Oh, what?
Just remembered something important. That's not that important.
What's that? No, what is it?
I retract the O, and I was hearing everything you were saying. I just kind of remembered something out loud. But I was happy they gave like a slight nod to what Superman was doing.
Yes, I was too.
And they did
because
it
in the
really
previous
early
episode,
on.
Yeah. In the previous episode, my wife was like, "And where is Superman?
Where the hell would her cousin be? She can clearly DM him, you know?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, he's probably in space." And in this episode, there was like, Superman is over here in Guatemala. Wasn't that right? Wasn't it Guatemala?
I think they said Madagascar.
Oh, Madagascar it was. It was Madagascar, they said.
So at least there was a nod to it. Even James gets kind of like, yeah, get him, Clark. Like that was... If they were just going to do like a nod to move that on, which by the way, it cracked me up. I think the shot they had kind of blurry in the background was like the publicity shot they used of Tyler Hoechlin. Mm-hmm. Like the first, public image we had of him as Superman. I think that's what we saw.
I'm not sure.
Superman takes care of blah, blah, blah. It's like just the stock image we have of him from early on. I think.
I wouldn't be willing to make that claim. I don't know. I just I saw an S.
I'm obviously not willing to make that claim, but I'm willing to espouse a supposition.
I saw a shield, an S shield, and I saw some slick back hair for just a second, and then it was gone, and I went, all right, well, good.
And you're like, well, we talked about that at least.
That line was dropped.
Yeah.
And we know why Clark isn't around. Cool. All right, well, I think I'm done for this episode. I think we've pretty much talked it out, man.
I believe so.
All right. Well, if you didn't like the ending, if you're upset about Mon-El or Winn departing or Jean not being the head of the DEO anymore, if you feel like the show has been ruined, I'm so sorry. I don't know why you're listening to us, but I hope we've convinced you otherwise. I'm glad we've convinced you otherwise, or I hope we have, and because I think they've made some positive steps in the show, and I think everything that's happened has made sense where they've left it.
I mean, the idea of jumping the shark is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in some ways, the more confused you are about what's going to happen, the better. I really don't. I don't know what they're doing. They shook up a lot.
Yeah, they did.
I wouldn't know how to predict where they're going next season exactly. Like, I know we were given some allusions to Red Sun and stuff like that, but I don't know.
I think, to me, there's Siberia, but I think the allusions to Red Sun, I think we're going to really dive into nature versus nurture in the coming season. That's got to be where we're heading with that, right? Wouldn't you think?
That's my fervent hope.
Yeah.
Because and it's because of like what I said earlier. Like there was so much focus, and Kara's like wrap up speech was this is my home. This is where surely the importance they put on that kind of turn for her character is what we're going to explore next season. Like, well, I'm so glad you're backing us right now, but what if you didn't have that upbringing?
And hopefully that will also play deeply into how she Lena Luthor.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Because you're right, she has been slightly bigoted to the name in a way,
Yeah.
Maybe there's some understanding between those two that wasn't there before. Who knows?
Yeah. So anyway, we will keep up to date on the news on our news episodes as the news drops. We probably won't mention all the news we talked about here in the new episode because we just talked about it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there was a lot of Supergirl. If you asked me last week, like, oh man, there's so much Supergirl. Yeah, that all played out.
Yeah. So we are DC On Screen. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. We're also very happily accepting people into our new Facebook group, where you can go to facebook.com/groups/DC On Screen podcast and request to join. It is a closed group, but, if you don't look like some sort of strange porn bot or something, we'll accept you, and there will be like a digital hug waiting for you. Mm-hmm. Or you can leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331, and we'll put you on the air. We're not being stingy with our air, man.
No, there's plenty.
It's all around us.
Invading our brains.
It's terrifying. It's a terrifying thought.
Sure.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be back in the next couple of days. If not, then next week with news. We got a couple of little possible scheduling snafus, but I think we'll get it done probably.
I'm going to say within a week.
Yeah, there should be something up within a week. Absolutely. So, until then, keep some DC on your screen. Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Ophelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, the TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted? Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.